we are going to be doing a body weight circuit today, working all of the major muscle groups. So let's go ahead and start on our back. We're going to begin with a supine bridge. So we want to have our feet in line with our heels in line with our hips, hands down at your sides. We're going to think about driving the pressure down into the heels. We're going to scoop the tailbone up, squeeze through the glutes and hamstrings, tuck the tailbone, and then roll back down. Okay, so this is a very simple basic bridge. You think about rolling, tucking under, coming back down. So the goal here is to strengthen the glutes and the hamstrings. So we should feel a strong contraction through that butt down into the back of the leg. Noticing that your pubic bone is pushing up and through between your thighs. Keep those knees right in line between your hips and your ankles. So the goal here would be to start somewhere between 10 and 15 reps. We want to go higher reps with this lower basic weight. If you're somebody who needs a little bit more resistance, bring your feet a little bit closer together and you can go to a single leg bridge. This is assuming as you do this, you can still maintain that alignment between knees and ankles and hips, and that the hips don't drop from one side to the other. You need to keep your pelvis level, okay? So this is the higher level format for the bridge. Our next exercise is going to be our modified plank, okay? So we are going to come down onto the elbows. You can do this basically from way up here, or you can start inching your way so that you become more of a board or a plank. Okay, so the minute you start extending the space between your elbows and your knees, the more you're going to notice, obviously work for your arms, but work for your core, especially as I start to tuck my hips under. Okay, so I'm pushing strong away from the ground. My ribs are pulling back up and into my body, and I'm just applying this pressure into the floor. So you might even find, okay, I want to start up here to make this a little bit less work on my back and my core, and I'm going to just kind of feel the sense of tucking and then pushing back. If this is a lot for your shoulders, do this off the edge of your bed, or again, off of a higher counter. You can even start with a plank off the wall. So a held plank would be here. You can make a held plank from the knees even harder by coming more extended with your knees bent, right? So I just made more space between the knees and my elbows. All right, so you're gonna hold those for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. With this next one, you could also, if you're somebody who really has some good strength, wants to work their upper body a little bit more, you could come to a kneeling push-up to a held plank. Holding for about 5 seconds between each push-up is pretty hard. Obviously coming to a toes push-up, holding a good strong plank here at the top, and then coming to a good push-up from there, okay? That's another option for you. Next one is gonna be more for those glutes. So these are really big muscles that are really important for our spinal health and knee health. So we're gonna start down on those elbows again. Again, you could do this standing. If you don't love the pressure on your knees, I recommend putting a pillow on your knees if you need that. But standing could work for this just as well, okay? And if you're standing, you would just stand, put your hands on the edge of a chair or a bed, and do the same motion. Okay, the reason I like on hands and knees is because it locks in your spine a little bit better. So thinking about putting a glass of water up here on your sacrum or kind of that lower back, we're gonna hold that in place. So I want you to imagine drawing your belly so that it's hugging your organs. We're gonna maintain that contraction and then drive the heel up and out, okay? And then slowly come back in. Imagine yourself too kind of holding your body so that it doesn't sway right or left. We're keeping everything really centered. As you drive up and away, you're extending by squeezing that big glute muscle, a little bit of that upper hamstring again. Just gonna hold that neck really neutral. And again, we're gonna start with like 10 to 15 reps. So I'm just going through a series of what is hopefully around 10 since I'm talking. And then we'll go to the other side. So same idea. Notice when you go to the other leg, can you go back to staying really centered, really level through that pelvis? We don't want to see a lot of arching to get the leg up, right? We got to hold that spine by using the core. We'll go just a couple more here. And then we're going to go into our last one on the floor, which is working a bit of that side core. So I really like to tell people who are a little bit more tentative to do these things on the floor, just go ahead and do them on your bed, right? These are all things you can do on a really soft surface up on your bed. If this is really hard on your shoulder, make sure you're using this top hand. You can even do a little bit of this just kind of rolling pattern by just going here, trying to get a little lift and coming up. These are all great things to do to maintain our function in life, to get up and down off the floor, to kind of roll with the way life throws things at us as far as getting in and out of bed, getting in and out of funky chairs, in and out of low places. So getting yourself strong out of the floor, we're going to take our top hand, brace your body, and I want you to activate from that lower core, push through the knees and lift your hips up, okay? If you don't need this hand, great, fine. But if you feel like that just helps this lower shoulder a little bit, that's awesome too, okay? If this is way too much, we could even go to two hands. Sometimes that's a little bit easier on those shoulders. We're still using a lot of those obliques to get up and down off the ground. So again, we're gonna go for those 8 to 10 reps each side. So coming to the other side, we're gonna have that same bent knee forward. We're gonna come up. So we can go hands on the floor, one elbow on the floor, use your hand, don't use your hand, whatever makes sense for you. But think about this coming from a good contraction on these lower abs. You should feel this bottom hip working, and we're pushing really strong out of that floor, okay? Again, you can make this even harder by picking up this knee. Now you're really gonna notice it on that bottom hip. So that's kind of a level up for those of you who would like that. All right, so the next thing we're gonna be doing is going to a standing position. So the first thing, I'm gonna just move my camera. The first thing we're gonna be doing is coming to a wall sit. So I'm sure many of you guys have used wall sits. I'm gonna actually have you go down with your feet completely together, okay? We're gonna add in some adductor use here. The adductors are something that typically get pretty weak, but they help us activate that lower deep core. So while you're here, I want you to bring your back of your hands and your shoulders into the wall. Think about trying to hug your body towards you. We're squeezing those inner thighs and knees all the way together. You don't even have to be super low for this to be like, whoa, this is pretty darn hard. A lot of my body is working here. So same idea, we're gonna hold this for anywhere from 20, 30 seconds up to a minute, even a minute and a half for those of you who are real go-getters, okay? We just wanna make sure that back and spine, head, if you can get it there, are against the wall. We're getting this pressure against the wall, squeezing those knees together. Think about that lower core staying super strong. Okay, our next exercise is gonna be a wall tricep push-up, okay? So with your with your forearms on the wall, we're gonna be pressing the body from a plank position off the wall. So I come down onto the elbows, press away, come off the elbows. So this is a nice modification to be able to get some extension through the wrists, keep those shoulders down, get that good squeeze at the end of the range. You can make it harder by stepping further back, okay? Still getting that same big reach. Your hands should be right basically in front of your nose for that one. And our final exercise is gonna be our hips at the wall, reverse fly. So I'm just gonna literally kind of sit down. So my sit bones are trying to reach towards the wall and pushing my booty back into the wall. My feet are about 1.5 feet away. And I think about this being like somebody who's tired in the outfield, right? Playing baseball, and they're like, oh, right here. So I'm putting a lot of pressure onto my knees. What you think about now, again, contracting from that core, drawing in to feel a sense of snug fit, and then we're gonna squeeze the fingertips to the wall. You can literally just hold here. Notice what's holding and contracting. Again, we're feeling the ribs pull in, we're feeling the shoulders come down away from the ears. We're tucking the chin into the throat and squeezing those shoulder blades down the back. We're gonna slowly release, hang towards the toes, squeeze those shoulder blades back and in again. Relax the arms, hang towards the toes. So we wanna control on the way down, even though we're kind of contracting and relaxing at the same time. We call that a lengthening contraction, which is an eccentric load. Your body can actually handle quite a bit here. So with any of these exercises, you can definitely add some resistance, but a lot of these are meant to be really hard with just your body weight, okay? So we're working some back, some hips, a lot of upper back and mid back to support that good posture. So give those a try. Let me know how they go for you. I'd love to support you. So please let me know, and I'll see you next time.